Well, welcome to Crushing Brevard. Today we have Cassandra Hartford. Cassandra is a commercial real estate agent in the area, and by in the area I mean through that wall over there. So she recently opened a new office down here in downtown Melbourne, and we're glad to have her as our neighbor because she was a great customer prior to that, and now I get to see all the stuff that's for sale, so it's nice. So thank you for being on the show. We appreciate it. Why don't you give us a little bit of background about yourself, where you're from, family kind of thing, and just then we'll go from there.
Yeah, a little bit about me. I'm a Florida native.
Okay.
I hear that we're rare, right?
Yeah.
Most people.
Wow, that
like
is.
you.
Yeah, no, I visited here a couple times, but yeah.
Where'd we pluck you from?
30 years in Minnesota.
Wow, I can't hear it. It doesn't sound like it.
Oh no, that's a long story. But yeah, I lived in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Chicago, and here.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
Yeah, there's no accent.
No, there's not. So Brevard native.
Okay.
I'm a fiance, I'm a mom, and I'm a business owner of a commercial real estate office.
Nice. How many kids?
I have two kids, two teenagers.
And oh, good Lord, I'm so sorry. And
yeah.
How old?
They're 14 and 16. I'm like in the thick of it right now.
Bless you, my child.
Yeah.
Been there, did that.
It is a lot.
Got the T-shirt, burned the T-shirt, hated the T-shirt. No, they're always, every age is fun and challenging because your kids might watch us. So, yeah. But no, that's a little bit of blood sport. How did you get into real estate, specifically commercial real estate?
That's a great question. I've been in real estate since I was 18.
Okay.
So
wow.
Yeah.
Like 2 years now.
Like half my life. Literally, almost half my life at this point. But no, I was a young mom, and I didn't have a lot of opportunities for higher education, so I decided to dive right into my career, and I started managing real estate at 18 years old.
Okay.
So
describe that to me. Like when you say managing real estate, was somebody doing a rental and you were kind of getting all everything set up for them, or what?
Yeah, great question. A little bigger than that. So it was multifamily property in Northern California.
Okay.
From here, raised here, had my children here, and then we relocated to Northern California because my husband at the time was in the military.
Okay.
So we were based out there, and I was 18 years old, gabbing in the leasing office about how I would need a job, and they called me a week later, and they offered me a position in the front office as a leasing agent.
Nice.
So it's kind of organizing the community, pulling in people, leasing them apartments, and I got a quick glimpse into what the sales industry could be, right? Just working with people and convincing them to get the apartments, getting little bonuses, and I was immediately addicted.
Nice.
And I took that and I just scaled it through residential real estate and then fast forward to commercial.
Okay. Now, are the licenses different between the two? I'm sorry I asked these questions. When we first started talking about when you moved in, I'm like, hey, maybe we could, throw a bone to somebody when you sell a house. And they're like, I do commercial real estate. I'm like, oh. Okay, and then I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So yeah, anything near the differences. So
there's not a license difference, right? If you have a real estate license, you can pretty much sell anything that doesn't have wheels.
Okay.
Right? You live in it, you work in it. But the difference between commercial real estate and residential real estate is predominantly where you live, or an investment property for residential. So anything smaller than 4 units of a multifamily.
Okay.
But if it's a restaurant, office, retail, industrial, land, new development, all of it is commercial. You don't live in it most of the time.
Okay, so if you have a triplex, that's residential, but if you have a quadplex, that's commercial.
Yes, there's a fine line.
Okay,
on the multifamily side.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Okay, awesome. All right.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about you mentioned how you got into kind of commercial because that was the multifamily thing,
Sure.
and then so commercial real estate. Give me a little bit does it ebb and flow the same as residential? What are the factors that make it different from residential from a standpoint of the market? The market was going crazy for residential a couple of years ago. You couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting a house that had sold. We came down here and we had 5 houses set up to see on Sunday. We set up 5 houses to see. On Wednesday, 3 of them were sold already.
Oh my gosh!
So it's does that happen in commercial? It seems like commercial would be a lot longer lead time and a lot more negotiation and stuff like that.
Well, with the internet, right? I mean, think about where we're at in the cycle, right? The internet was introduced to us in 1996, and most folks were using it 05, 06 when the housing market, kind of collapsed. And now fast forward, everyone on the internet is talking about investing, right? So when the real estate market exploded, and that was for different reasons, the commercial market also expanded rapidly because we have biggerpockets.com and a lot of other resources online that say maybe residential is getting boring, or everyone knows how to invest in residential now. Everyone has a triplex or a quadplex or an Airbnb. Now let's pivot to commercial. So we saw a big boom in commercial, and it's, maybe not our market here, but globally and nationally at least, that's come to like a screeching halt. The financing for commercial real estate, banks are just like, I'm not touching it right now. So
there's a lot of reasons for that, right? There's probably a little bit of a glut because of the people working from home now that didn't used to work from home. Is that true, or is it that so many people get used to sitting on their couch ordering from Amazon that they don't go out anymore, or what do you think? What do you think's affecting that?
Retail's still thriving. Office here, at least, is still doing really, really good. Now, I can't speak for markets like New York.
Oh yeah, San Francisco is a totally different ballgame, right? Yeah.
Like we've seen those massive commercial buildings convert to multifamily properties, right? Because there's an opportunity there, and people were working from home.
Yeah.
But I think across the board, everyone's seeing a flood back to the office market. It's still pretty healthy. I try to maintain relationships with commercial brokers all over the country. A couple times a week, I'll hop on the call with someone from the East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, wherever, and I try to get a feeling for how it's going in their market, because our area here in Florida is typically like 9 months behind the West Coast. So whatever's happening there trails over here.
Oh wow, okay. I would not have thought. I thought they'd be totally independent. But
it's the same with fashion and music too.
Oh wow.
It all just trends our way.
Great. Fashion.
Yeah. That'll never go out of style.
I hadn't planned on being on camera. Sorry for people. Sorry. I shaved though, so that was good. I mean, I trimmed it down a little bit today. It was good. It was a little scraggly.
Me too.
I don't think so. So, did you just start Reach?
Reach is brand new.
Okay, so talk to me a little bit about what you were doing before Reach and how you ended up doing Reach Realty.
Great question. So I've always done both. I've always done residential and commercial, and in our industry that's called a resi-mercial, and commercial agents hate
so
that.
Creative.
They hate it so much.
A resi-mercial.
And I noticed a couple of years ago that there's an oversaturation of residential agents. Like on average, the regular residential agents might sell 5 to 7 homes a year. It's hard to make a living wage in residential.
Right.
And so I did both, and I was selling. I think I did 75 transactions in 21. Like that is a lot of transactions in 1 year. 22, I did 100. And I'm like, all right. And that was basically 50-50 residential commercial. And then I look around the marketplace and I'm like, wow, there's 6,000 residential agents and there's 20 commercial agents. And those 20 commercial agents, no offense to anyone in the room, are old white men. And they're ready to retire. They don't know that they're ready to retire yet, but they're too.
Wait. No.
They are
half right.
Teetering on retirement as far as I can tell. So there's a big hole in the market here locally, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to step right into it, and we've really hit the ground sprinting.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you just made the leap, and you got a little spot over here. I mean, not little. It's a nice spot.
Yeah, it's a nice spot. It's so. The fascinating story about the space next door is this building, the Flatiron building in downtown Melbourne. This was my first commercial listing about 12 years ago.
Oh, was it really? Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
So 12 years ago, I was given the property management on this building, and upstairs we had, I think, 27 offices, and they were full of squatters, mattresses. There's a stripper pole in the middle of this unit with couches around it.
Really?
Above us. Andrew Pickett has the office upstairs now. And
that's crazy.
So we had to go through and renovate all the offices and turn it over. It took about 9 months to finish that, and we started filling it with tenants. And then all of a sudden, it became a performing asset. And we were able to sell it to Valerie and Federico, the owners who own it now.
Yeah.
So fast forward 12 years, my first commercial office is actually in the building where it was my first commercial listing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. No, that's really cool. There's a link between you and this building.
Very passionate about it.
Yeah. No. Well, it's a great building. I mean, people come in and show me pictures. I have a picture from like the 1940s when the bar area was a men's clothing store. They have like hat boxes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I'll show it to you when we get off camera.
I'd love to see that.
And you can tell where it is because the ceiling is and the windows and everything. It's really, really cool. And everyone's like, you should get that printed out and put on the wall. I'm like, yeah, I should, but I only got it in October and it's August, so I mean.
Yeah. You still have time.
Yeah. It's only been what, a couple weeks, right?
I mean, it's been 100 years since the photo was taken. What's another couple months?
Exactly. I like it. Thank you. I say that if you're productive, it pays off eventually. But putting things off pays off every day.
That's funny.
No, it's not funny. It's my life. You do, obviously you do just Brevard County, you do generally Brevard County. You're not doing stuff out in Orlando or anything like that, right?
We touch every part of the country.
Do you really?
We really do.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have a big presence here in Brevard County because we live here and we're in the community and this is where we volunteer.
Sorry, I just assumed because I guess if you
Yeah.
walk by the window, you're only going to see stuff that's local. You're not going to,
Well, yeah.
hey, Steve, you want to buy something in Joplin,
Yeah.
Missouri? It's like, no.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No, but we're transacting all over the country right now with
Okay.
hotel, land, multifamily, retail. Most commercial brokers specialize in either like one asset class. So they pick they pick retail, office, industrial, warehouse. There's a couple different asset classes and most brokers pick. I haven't picked yet. So I'm doing all of it simultaneously.
Okay.
So that's
Fun.
why you see me there at 7 p.m. on Fridays working as I watch people flood into your restaurant for their cocktails. I'm like, you sons of bitches.
I want to be you. So what's something that, so you say there's a lot of investors that look at commercial properties. What's something that people come in with a misconception about commercial property for first-time people that you can maybe, head off at the pass here on your future clients?
Okay, so there's a couple misconceptions. There's a few different ways to look at like the rate of return on your money. So there's like the ROI, there's the IRR, there's the cash on cash, and there's a cap rate. And those all mean different things to different types of investors. Yep. A common misconception is that it's passive. I don't think commercial real estate is passive income. It's about as passive as a toddler, in my opinion.
Okay.
You have the GPs and you have the LPs, and if you're syndicating and you're just throwing money in as an LP on a deal and you're not active at all, then it's a little passive.
But you're not making the return that other people are making.
Exactly.
Right.
But if you're the GP or you're running the syndicate, then it is a full-time job.
Yeah.
So that is a pretty common misconception. People think they can just park their money in a property.
And just cash checks. No. Everybody has. Oh my gosh, I saw a fly, or come and spray for it, and oh my gosh, the air conditioner broke, come and fix it.
Well, that's one of the beneficial parts of commercial versus residential. So in residential, think you have a rental house, you have a tenant in it, tenant pays rent, but everything about that house is your responsibility. Okay. The roof, the AC, the termites, the this, that, it's all your responsibility as the landlord. Yeah. Commercial is different. You have something called a triple net lease, which means the tenant's responsible for the property taxes, the insurance, the roof reserve, the AC maintenance, the janitorial services. So every year you know exactly what your income's going to be because you don't have any of those expenses. Those are all passed through to the tenant.
I had no idea.
We are triple net tenants here in this building.
Okay.
Yeah, so when the property taxes and insurance goes up, our landlords don't take that on the back end. We pay that difference in our CAM charges.
Darn it.
Yeah.
I knew that.
It's good for them, not good for us.
Well, it's again, beautiful building, love it.
Yes.
Thank you, Federico.
Yes.
We're all very happy.
It's a great write-off for us as tenants.
Yeah.
We can write all of those expenses off.
True.
Yes.
Although it'd be better not to have the expenses.
Yeah. But that
Details. It's better. It's better than it could be.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main difference, though. Most people don't know that commercial tenants take on almost all of the expenses for the property.
Yeah.
So that's why it costs a little bit more, and your return might be a little bit less, but you don't have the variables.
Yeah, you know what
exactly.
check you're going to take to the bank every month.
Yes.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, my parents they have a couple of condos that they rent out, and it's, right now a woman moved out, and they're like, yeah, I got to replace the carpeting, and the dishwasher's broke, and the refrigerator's broke, and the stove is broke. I'm like, how'd they break the stove? They're like, I don't know, but they did.
In commercial, the next tenant in line typically takes on most of that expense, or you give them something called TI, tenant allowance, and that, you pack that in on the back end on like the rent or something, but oftentimes the returns are just greater in commercial because you defer all of that onto the tenant.
Okay. Where were you before you were here?
I worked from home. So you know what REACH stands for? Real estate at Cassandra's house.
I like it.
I worked from home for
great.
years.
That's great.
I was always at a boutique firm, just a couple different brokerages throughout the town, and I was always real big on branding myself. The name Cassandra Hartford. Yeah. Now the brokerages that I was with, they were big assets. The brokers were always there for me. They contributed to marketing, or they introduced me to people that I needed to know. But ultimately, I just discovered that I needed like a brand that said commercial.
Yeah, right? I'm glad it wasn't like resident occupancy at Cassandra. Anyway, I'm glad it was.
No, that's not really what it stands for.
Oh, okay, no, it's not. That's crazy. All right, I liked it.
Yeah.
You should just say it was.
Yes.
No one's gonna know. Okay. It sounds really awesome. Yeah, exactly. We won't tell anybody.
Cassandra,
No.
Yeah. But that's what it was for years. Even like the first agent I brought on, Colin, who's just like a rock star. he would come to my house and we would work from like my kitchen counter.
Is that the guy who works with you now?
Colin.
Okay. Yeah. Young guy.
He's 20.
He's what?
He's 20.
He looks like he's 12.
Well, he acts like he's 40. So that's what matters.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. I had one of those. I had a daughter who was 8 going on 40.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. No. As long as he's hungry. I look at the real estate, the residential real estate market around here, and I know a bunch of real estate agents, and I know a lot of people who call themselves real estate agents.
Yeah.
And then they work like 2 days a week, and then they're like, oh well, I've got this other thing going on, and then I have my license, so I can help you if like.
It gives everybody else a bad rap. The ones that do it professionally, 24/7, die hard, available all the time, and really, really know what they're doing, like absolutely
successful ones,
experts. Well, and then you hire Susie Joe, who lists your property on the market with cell phone photos that are sideways, and on a bad day, on a holiday weekend. I mean, it's just not strategic, and they really, because there's a lot of people who do for sale by owner, and I call that for sale by ego. They think that they can do it better than the experts, but it's because they've met someone who's part-time who just isn't an expert. So
they can do it better than that person, so therefore, so therefore they must be an expert, right?
It drives everybody in the industry crazy. Do it full-time or don't do it at all.
Well, I think it's weird that, you know who Dave Ramsey is?
Yeah, of course.
So he talks about, you can save money doing this and save money doing that, and this is that. And then he goes, and by the way, when you go do real estate, get a broker. He doesn't even mess around. He's just like, you make so much more money having a broker than not having a broker.
Sure.
So it must be hard, like you can't go, like just regular residential people can't either. They can't go dig up leads. You can't go up somebody's business and knock on the door and be like, hey, do you want to sell the building?
Well, so commercially you can.
Yeah, but do you do that?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Because nobody does it,
okay.
Right? Like there's no commercial agents in Brevard County coming and knocking on your door saying like.
But I mean, do you get people coming to you and saying, hey, I like that building right there.
Yes.
I've always liked that building. Can you go find out what they want
That's
for it?
That's what Federico did to this building.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, he did.
All right.
Yeah.
And so you went up and knocked on the door like, hey, I got somebody who's interested in buying it. What do you want?
Those are the easiest phone calls because you're not just soliciting, you're not just an agent looking for an opportunity. You're like, hey, person, I'm chasing a rabbit down a hole right now. My customer loves your property. Are you interested in selling?
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's a real conversation. So where the sweet spot is in commercial real estate is you're introducing principal to principal, owner to seller, buyer to seller. You don't have to go through the whole rigmarole of doing the whole full listing and having open houses or any of that. Right. You can just introduce two people and do a business transaction, and you take a fee.
Yeah.
It's so much simpler.
Yeah, and quicker.
It is.
And easier.
You just have to have someone who understands that not everybody wants to be in the middle, right? Like the buyer doesn't want to be the negotiator most of the time. They'll negotiate over here, but they won't do it directly to their face.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm sure the guy who brokered this business wasn't happy being in the middle. It's just, I don't think he liked that experience that much, but that's okay. Yeah. Because he didn't want us talking to each other, but he also didn't like that we had so many questions of each other. Because I was a guy who never owned a restaurant before, and this was their baby.
Yeah.
And so they had a lot of concerns, and I had all the concerns in the world because I had no idea what I was doing.
Sure.
So yeah, that person. Be glad you weren't them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked out good for you.
Yeah.
You said 14, 16 boys and girls?
One of each. I've got a boy who's 14 and the girl's 16.
Oh. Good for you. That's great. Driving?
We're practicing.
Practicing. Okay. So haven't taken the driver's test yet, or
no? Yeah,
are they like my kids where they failed the first couple and then
they? Oh, I'm so nervous for her.
Can I tell you a quick story?
Yes.
It has nothing to do with anything we're talking about, but my son went to take his driver's test and he wasn't a great driver. And we found a video of the test course. And it was tricky because there was 4 lanes going in one direction and then the guy tells you to make a left. And you have to know what to do, right?
Sure.
And where you parallel park and what you're going to do. So we just watch this, let's watch this. And he got done. I said, how'd you do? He goes, I failed. I said, oh, what happened? He goes, oh, it was really tricky. There were 4 lanes going in one direction. And then he told me to make a left. I'm like, we went over that. That was the one that... So, anyway, been down the road. Although my wife did the yeoman's work of most of the work of getting our kids prepared for driver's tests. So I can't really complain too much. But
I'm not good at that part. I have a Tesla, so it drives me. So when the kids are in it, I'm just like, put it on full self drive. Stop stomping on the gas. I'm just like, my fiance Nelson is teaching her how to drive, and he's much more patient with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't bark.
And you come in with Nelson. You've come in with Nelson a bunch of times. Yeah. She's a fan of the restaurant, by the way. Just be careful. What's your favorite drink here?
Ooh, the not so average green tea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but most of the time I come in and I say, hey, Stu,
Yeah.
I'm going to be a total twat and ask you to make me a totally custom drink, no sugar, only vodka, no great, like, and I give him like the crazy
ground rules,
parameters,
yeah.
and he always makes me a flawless cocktail.
Yeah, no, so I do that with Stu too, except I just say vodka, and then he
Yeah.
comes back with something that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Or Chloe does a great job too. Well, they all do a great
Okay.
job.
Yeah.
Great, but I'd like to ask people what their favorite thing here is.
Yeah.
Because that makes me look good, because I have really
Yeah.
good people here who work really well.
Oh
so.
my God, you have the best staff.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
you really do.
Yeah, I know, I'm very lucky. I'm so lucky in so many ways. So why don't you give us a little quick rundown again about your business, how people can get a hold of you if they're interested in listing things, how they get Cassandra Hartford on their team.
Yeah, no, so I'm super active on social media because you kind of have to be these days. I think it's the average person scrolling through Facebook 17 times a day. So you can definitely find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, very active on Twitter, LinkedIn, texter, emailer. You know, I've got the website, reachcommercialre.com. I've got Reach Commercial on every social media account. Cassandra Hartford is the big one. I've got the followers and the fun stuff that we do.
Nice.
Or stop and visit me here in downtown Melbourne. My office is directly next to Crush 11.
The address,
921.
921, okay.
921
Right.
East New Haven. And, you know, I sell all derivatives of commercial real estate. So if it doesn't have wheels and you can't live in it, there's a fair chance that I could help you buy, sell, and lease it here in Brevard County and beyond. My bread and butter is really that end user who's looking to grow or downgrade their business, where they need to expand into a bigger building or start a sister location, or maybe even scale back a little bit and put their property on the market. Those are really good customers for me here in Brevard County. I do a lot of transactions in this 1 mile district of downtown Melbourne from Melbourne Mainstreet.
Okay.
So the big developments, I've got my hands dabbled in all of it with Kim Agee down at Melbourne Mainstreet. So
Nice.
yeah, I'm just a little busy bee,
There you
and
go.
I would love to take on much, much more.
Excellent. And you got a little helper to help you be a busy bee, so you can be the queen bee.
He
That'd be
is
good.
gonna hate being called a little helper, like he's a little elf.
He is to me.
Oh, he is to you. He's bigger than me, though.
Wow, I mean,
Yeah.
anyway. Well, thank you very
Yeah.
much. It was great talking with you.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. Thanks.